from where does this tree grow? Given the new iteration of our church, post-pandemic world, the tree that we might call Mosaic as a church, it's important for those of you who are new to understand from where this tree has grown, as well, again, for those of us who've been here to be reminded from where this tree grows. And with that in mind, Mosaic is a very unique church. It's not a perfect church. No perfect churches, because there's no perfect leaders, no perfect people, nor by saying is Mosaic a unique church, do I intend to compare ourselves to others to say we're better than this church or that church. That's not what I'm talking about at all. What I really intend by that statement is that you should understand from where this tree has grown. It was grown not out of a 20th century understanding of church planning, growth, and development, but more accurately, a first century understanding and the first century culture of the New Testament church, particularly at a church that we have patterned ourselves after, namely the church at Antioch, Acts chapter 11. Now, to say Mosaic is a unique church then, again, not perfect, not comparing, not better or worse than others, just unique. I wasn't a great student of science, but I do remember as a sophomore in biology, they taught us about a genus, a different kind, different classifications for flowers and plants and trees. And in that sense, Mosaic from the beginning has been a different genus, a different kind, a different classification of a church, very different than the American context, again, rooted in the first century context and culture of the New Testament. So this different kind of tree has grown up. Do you remember there's a passage in the Bible where the disciples were out and on one particular day they encountered a man and they tried to cast a demon out of this man. Apparently they'd done so before, but they weren't getting it done that day. And so they went and kind of complained to Jesus, said, hey man, we tried everything. This demon's not coming out. What's the deal? And Jesus speaks to them and he says, this kind, this classification, this genus of demon only comes out through prayer and fasting. And therefore, to cast it out requires a very different method, in that case, prayer and fasting. I want you to know the uniqueness of Mosaic is birthed in that kind of understanding, a very different kind of church that's required from day one, not only prayer and fasting, but then patience, great persistence to see this tree grow up and to see the fruit that is being born today. It's required a people of great faith and of great courage and great sacrifice have helped to grow this tree and work the soil so that today it has become a nest, as Harry likes to say, where all kinds of different birds can rest in the shade and the peace of this tree, including our friend Red right outside our doors. The whole reason for that, the entire reason that those of us in the beginning saw this as a different kind of church and took a different tack, prayer, fasting, patience, persistence, chasing what many in 2000 said was an impossible dream, to build a church for all people, not just some. The number one reason that we did that is so that if, in fact, this tree grew up and if, in fact, it bore the fruit that we envisioned aspirationally, that someday God alone would get the glory. That nobody could look and say, well, Mark did this or Harry did that or one. No, God alone has done this. And I can tell you that because I was the first one here. No man, no woman can take credit for the tree that has become and the fruit that is being born today. It is God's glory and his alone. That's why we approach this as a different church. We did not want to grow just another church in the strength of man, but in the power of the Holy Spirit, for God to develop a tree for all people and not just some.